Hello everybody, happy Sunday. How's everybody doing today? I'm doing just fine. I hope your weekend was good. Mine was really quiet. We're going to go see Jurassic Park 102 today. Whatever number it's at. It's a lot. Vivi's just hanging out in the driveway. On the Black Rocks again. Yeah, it's hanging out on the Black Rocks. Today I want to talk about MAGA. I have some advice. And I really think they need to talk to me. There you go, dirty face. Look at her rolling in the dirt again. Look. She is just filthy. That's pumpkin on her eyebrow from her breakfast. That's what I'm going to be. That's what I'll be called later today, I'm sure of it. But anyway, let me turn this around. So, we have MAGA out there believing all they're told. Or all they want to hear, put it that way. They voted for him and it's like, oh, well, we got to put a good face on it now. Because we voted for it. But you know what? You don't. People are starting to get over him. You guys decided that let's hire a successful businessman to run our country. He'll get us out of debt. We'll have a successful country with a businessman running it. Well, remember, that businessman bankrupted 6 companies, 6 huge resorts, and 3 casinos. The house always wins in a casino unless you're an idiot. Who am I telling that to? You wouldn't believe me. But this is your advice today. Let me pour you a tall glass of get over it. Because, mock. Oh, and you're going to need a straw to suck this up. So, you voted for the successful businessman. You idiots. I shouldn't call you that. Misinformed, uninformed, and no reason to get informed. Stupid is a bad word. So, his success came from his CEO, from his CFO, his chief financial officer, who cooked all the books to keep all that money and not pay the government or his taxes. That's why he got those, I think it was 14, 17 counts, whatever, of insurance and bank fraud, because he would lie about the size of his properties when it was time to insure them. So if something happened, he'd get more money. And he would shrink the size of the very same buildings by thousands of feet when it came time to pay taxes. You paid less tax on smaller businesses, right? But yep, that's the smart businessman. No, that's a crook. That's a goddamn crook. And while he was stealing all that money, that takes money away from places like social services, fire and police. That's what your taxes pay for. Road maintenance. You know, stupid stuff like that. Hospitals. So yeah, he bankrupts everything he touches, screws it up, and then passes the buck. Anybody around him, like in the first administration there, that got arrested on this Russia thing, because they were talking to undercover cops. They were talking to all kinds of stuff. One guy was a spy. An Australian guy was a spy. And one of his buddies sat down and told him the whole workings of what Trump was going to do. All of a sudden, like, this guy was at all the important meetings with all of his cabinet heads and everything else. He was like third down from the table from the president. Just a coffee boy. I didn't know him. Anytime somebody gets in trouble with him, I didn't know him very well. Jeffrey Epstein, didn't know him that well. 15 years of hanging out and clubbing with him, flying on the planes with him, but you don't know him, right? When you get close, you know how to pass that buck, and with your money, you can pay people to do that for you. That's all it is. It's not that you didn't do it. and said you passed the buck. Made somebody else pay for it. But that's... Coming home to roost, Donnie. Coming home to roost. Coming home to roost. He was never a successful businessman because he had good managers around him. All he knew how to do, apparently, from what I've read, is know the sequence of what happens on a job site. What has to be done when. Guess what? I could Google that shit today and find out the sequence of how a job site works. He grew up in that atmosphere with his dad. But that's all he managed, because he can't manage a business because he's bankrupt everything he touches. Those casinos, Taj Mahal, his dad had to get, I think it was $30,000 or something, because he screwed up all the terminals at the slot machines and they weren't paying people. So his dad had to go get money to pay the people. Night one, opening night of that thing. When he walked into a room, anybody that was black on the floor, and there was no black people counting money in the pit, because he didn't want them touching his money, he actually said, I only like Jewish people touching my money because they know about money. Because he's a racist son of a bitch. But you guys don't see that, and you don't care, because a lot of you think the same way. Like hangs with like. So he's got all that going on. But you voted for it. Not once, not twice, but probably thrice. So it wasn't him that was successful. It was all the people doing the job behind him. They were the ones that were successful. He just took credit for it. He did nothing. He sat in his office, called newspapers under an assumed name. Everybody knew it was him. Saying, I'm John Barron. That's how his son got his name, by the way, Barron. Yeah, from a lie. That's a legacy for you, right? He can't organize. You've seen that. He can't do anything. As soon as he does anything, it falls apart. He couldn't organize a circle jerk, for Christ's sake. He can't manage anything. You've seen everything. He gets all his people together and he picks all the wrong people because they can't manage, because he picked them, so he can't manage. Organize. Oh, Jesus, you ever seen him try to run through a speech that's already written on a piece of paper in front of him? He can't. I have a stroke brain, and I can stay more on task than he can. And I don't even take Ritalin. So yeah, all the people around him made him successful. He just took the credit and slapped his name on it. So let's talk about, wants to make America great again. What he's doing, he's ending up making America grovel again, because nobody wants to do business with him. It's not trade, they're threats. It's not trade, it's extortion. We get a small little country like Vietnam. They don't have, I'm going to say 1/1000th of the money the United States has. They can't afford to buy all that shit. But America doesn't mind taking all their cheap clothes that they make. So there is a bit of a deficit there, but it comes back. It does. It comes back in trading partners and goodwill. You wouldn't know what that is. So this actually is the anniversary of the panty liner era, because I want to see his medical records. Bet you we all do. We never will, though. You know, the most healthiest president in the world, nobody was more healthier than him. He won 35 club championships. He didn't even play half of them. He just put his name on there. Oh, I golfed over here, so this was my score. Put me on there. I won. Yeah, he's a lying cheat. But you voted for him. That's your man. That's your man. So, let's talk about what he's done. He slapped tariffs on the whole world in January. The whole world was going to get 10% and he'd work up and down from there. Now, the two closest trading partners he has, Canada and Mexico, he slapped 25% on us on steel and aluminum. We'll see how that works out on July 21st when him and Carney get together. He slapped more on the EU today. And the EU's not having it. Van der Leyen, she's standing up there going, oh, no, no, no. There's Dexter again, smiling into your face and stabbing you in the back. So, economically, he's even tariffed the penguins. And they've even went someplace else to get a better deal. Yeah, they did their little swim and found other penguins, so they're ganging up. Just saying. Economically, he is sending more stuff out than he's bringing in. So the American deficit is dying. Is increasing rather. Because he's not getting back as much as he's putting in. Or that he's sending out. Because nobody wants his shit, so nobody's taking it. Ever notice the dock situation? All the longshoremen are screeching on. They got no money. They're getting laid off because no countries are sending him goods and services. Nobody's sending him goods. Docks are empty. There might be 2 or 3 ships a day. Vancouver's loaded. The St. Lawrence Canal up here, whoo, Jesus, busier than hell. Halifax. They can't keep up here because we went out and we talked to people. We didn't bark at them. We didn't demand they do this. You sit down, you talk. Canada's always done that. So we sat down and we talked. We got trade deals, free trade deals. So now he's decided 50% on copper all around the world. 84% of American copper right now comes from Canada. So Quebec's going to hurt. But you know who's going to hurt more? The car industries, batteries, all that stuff. Yeah, electricians, copper wiring. Yeah. You still have pennies, we don't, so we won't lose there. But yeah, we're going to lose out on that with a 50% tariff because that's outrageous and stupid. So he can't make a deal. He can't. He partnered up with Bibi Netanyahu, and Netanyahu talked him into bombing Iran and using up from what Trump says anyway. Well, I guess the Pentagon used up 20% of their armament in one bombing raid to show, oh, look how strong we are and how fucking stupid. But yeah, what'd they do? I told you. Those uranium stores that they had, that refined uranium, wasn't there. They moved it a week before because they got word. They moved it. Brain drain. A lot of your tech people, manufacturing, doctors, lawyers. You can't keep saying that if a doctor tries to help a woman because she's lost her baby and you're going to put him in prison for murder and she's going to be charged with attempt murder. No, doctors don't put up with that. They're moving up here. They're moving to England. They're moving to Ireland. They're moving everywhere but where you are. So there's that. Nobody wants to work for a wingnut that can't stay on track and changes his mind every 30 seconds, literally. Cultural influence. You turn people off globally, Donnie. You're a piece of shit, you're an arsehole, and you're just a big buffoon. And you wear too much makeup, by the way. I used to tell my daughter that when she was 16, and you act like you're 15. So I'm just saying. You turn off a lot of people, you're a joke, and now nobody is visiting the United States. There's over $140,000 job losses in the tourist industry and over $30 billion in global money that's not going to you. But let's make America great again. Economic uncertainty. all you MAGAs out there are going to be getting it up the ass. And you know the funny part about that is you won't be able to have a proctologist to fix that for you because Donnie is taking away your medical insurance. So you better get some tweezers or something, or a big wire brush, because there's going to be no doctors for you to get anything. There's enough people without doctors even with insurance. So there's that. Trade. There's a difference between trading and threatening. There's a difference between trading and extorting. It's not a good look, Donnie. You're slowing your economic growth because people don't like to be threatened or extorted, so they're just better off not doing business with you. And those idiots that you got, lick nuts and whatever, nobody wants them either. Nobody wants to talk to them idiots because they're sucking your ass and taking everything you got. Nobody wants that. They don't care about that stuff. They don't want to listen. All they are is the same puppet parroting the same information that come out of your lips. Your big, fat, juicy fucking ass lips. That's what that is. You made one too many threats, because I got the feeling that the EU, France, Germany, the UK, you said they all have to come and build their stuff in America. They said, oh, hell no, we don't. Canada's gone to Australia for armament and stuff like that. I think they're going to take the Griffins over the A-35s because the A-35s are too expensive to keep up. And if he goes on another little pissy rant, we won't get parts for our airplanes. So, no, that's a bust. We're going to other countries for our armament, and you already got the money for your big gold dome there, that big piece of shit garbage that you think is going to help. Yeah, you've already got the money for that, so Canada ain't giving you none. How's that? Now, domestically, you've got all them black shirts goose-stepping through all blue cities. But guess what? There's a lot of criminals in red cities. Have you noticed that? They have some of the highest criminal rates in the United States of America. Oklahoma, huge. Huge. So why don't you boot-step your way and goose-step your way through those cities? You don't have the guts. You don't have the guts. But people are standing up now, and they're not taking your shit, and neither are judges. You thought you could buy them all, but you can't buy them all. You can't. Even your own judges are telling you you're a nutbar. So anyway, everybody, 9N loves you. Be good, be safe. Please take care of you first. This is my Sunday rant. Newcomers, I thank you all for coming along. Like me, love me, share me. Don't forget to subscribe, because it gets the word out there and boosts the algorithm, and I appreciate it so very much. Hangers on. Happy Sunday to y'all. Hi, Dad, down in North Carolina, because I know you're watching. You take care of you. I love you all. Mwah. Hangers on. Be good to you first so you can be good to somebody else. And if they don't have a smile, give them one of yours, damn it. It doesn't cost anything. Right? MAGA. Rethink the situation. Rethink it. I love you all. Don't forget to subscribe.